All right, so it continues. It continues. It's a Godwinson Live news alert on the status of the new Project 2 deplatforming. Yet again, Dick Masterson has had to find another payment processor, find another bank, because the old one has terminated him. The old one has said, no, we will not host new Project 2. So let's just read Dick Masterson's tweet here. He says that once again I've been deplatformed by a merchant services provider. No reason was given like usual. This is how difficult it is to simply stay in business as a free speech advocate. New Project 2 processing is currently on hold. I'm working to get it up again as fast as I can. So look, it's obviously bad that Dick Masterson and his business interest has been put on a temporary halt there. That's bad. We don't like deplatforming here. And we're certain that he's going to find another payment process here. We're certain he's going to find another bank to host this new Project 2 alternative, because it is the beacon of free speech. I have been deplatformed by a services provider. So this isn't the first time this has happened. He's been banned by mainstream banks, and I don't know what the reason was, but I'm pretty sure the reason was because of new Project 2. Pretty sure, because he's running new Project 2, and there's something shady. I don't know what it is. But I just suspect that there's something shady about new Project 2, which leaves all of these mainstream banks somewhat trepidatious about whether they want to host it. And when they realise they've got it, they realise that they've been saddled with new Project 2, they always seem to cut ties. They always seem to deplatform Dick Masterson. Dick Masterson is saying, no reason is given, like usual. We can speculate at the reasons. We can speculate that maybe, allegedly, new Project 2 isn't all that. It's not protecting its data. Maybe it's because he's hosting Josh, and Josh is a terminated merchant on various different processors of payment. Maybe it's because, I don't know, the bank that's hosting it just isn't worth much. Isn't worth much cop, isn't worth its salt. Who knows? But then he goes on to say, this is how difficult it is to simply stay in business as a free speech advocate. Press 1. If you think that Dick Masterson is a free speech advocate. Press 2. If you know the truth that Dick Masterson bans people in his chat. He openly says on The Simp Show, ban them, Sean. Do it, Sean. And Sean's, bah! I'll do it, Lord and Master. This is the reality of Dick Masterson. This is Dick Masterson who's constantly tweeting out, even now, right now, saying that the Kiwi farms need to be cleared. Josh, you need to clean Kiwi farms. You need to get these users off that are going against the Dick Masterson playbook. This is what he's saying on Twitter. And the guy is a free speech advocate. A free speech advocate. First of all, I think it's so arrogant to call yourself a free speech advocate. Like, I'm not a free speech advocate. And I don't know anyone in good faith that is a free speech advocate. I think the arrogance of that statement is just beyond baffling. It's an arrogant statement that Sargon made. V used to make, you know? Because by definition, they can't truly be free speech advocates, because when they always see their free speech being suppressed, they go on the attack and want to oppress those that are attacking their liberty to use speech. So, I mean, it's just idiocy. Free speech advocate. You might as well just use the meaningless tag of, you know, I'm a stupid idiot, basically. Hadn't you? Quite frankly. So, new Project 2 processing is currently on hold. Now, I don't know when the creators on new Project 2 actually get paid, when the capos like Josh and Toad and Ralph and JF actually get paid, and Porcelain. I don't know when they actually get paid, but I assume it's at the beginning of every month. And we're coming up to the beginning of June at this moment in time. So it's looking like a month's worth of new Project 2 earnings have been put on hold. They're not going to be processed. That means Toad McKinley, Toad McJudas, isn't going to receive his 26 shekels this month. Will he die? Will he die of starvation? Will the roof over his head be taken away from him? Will he have to sleep on the street? Will he have to stay in the public library? Can he afford his internet? Can he afford to survive anymore? Well, we all know Toad had a big payday this month for that one video he did on Chris Hansen, where he sold out his principles, he sold out his own nationality, he sold out everything that you would imagine him to hold dear. He just sold it all out for the $3,000 Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. And he's happily signed that NDA, and he's probably going to carry on using that promo code TOAD with Raid Shadow Legends, the Mossad Puppet Company. But so Toad's going to be fine, right? Toad's going to be fine. But what about Gator? What about Gator, the Gator Gamer? When all of this began, Gator was making $19 on New Project 2. 19 whole dollars, ladies and gentlemen. As the truth came to light, he lost $5. He lost $5 during the crusade against New Project 2. And now he doesn't seem to be even getting that. Doesn't seem to be even getting the $14 that he has left. Will Gator die? Will he starve? Is this it? Is this the end of the capos? So New Project 2 is currently on hold for processing. That means Josh isn't going to receive the $2,000 a month. Josh isn't even going to receive his $2,000 a month. It's tough enough, I imagine, living in the Siberian wilderness. But to do so while not having any income stream coming in, while being penniless also, I can only imagine the cartwheels that Josh is doing now. Desperately trying to work it out, desperately trying to get the anger and anxiety out of his system, because this is it now. He's on his own. And the Siberian wilderness is pretty damn bad. I wouldn't like to be there. Press 1 if you'd like to be in the Siberian wilderness without $2,000 a month to keep you afloat. Nobody's pressing 1. Nobody's pressing 1. People are pressing 2. People want to be at home in a Western country, in a first world country, where they don't feel afraid of the people, where they don't feel afraid of going outside lest they get eaten by wolves. Literal wolves in the Siberian wilderness. Heavens above. Heavens above. But there we are. There we go. Dick Masterson's working to get it up again as fast as he can. I don't know how. I mean, is he going to... So Dick Masterson, a year or so ago, or last year, I should say, it's probably not even been a year since he made that statement, but he did a podcast on The Simp Show where he talks about how he was deplatformed from Chase Bank. And he talks about how he went to Chinatown in Los Angeles to find a bank that would host New Project 2. So, I mean, is he going to have to go back into Chinatown to find another bank? There's Cathay Bank, and Cathay Bank says that it's a bank with an open door for all. An open door for all. So I imagine if Dick Masterson's just walking down the Chinatown sites, he's just taking it all in, looking for banks of where to host Joshua Moon and Porcelain and Toad McJudas and Gator there. I imagine he could walk into Cathay Bank with an open door for all. And it's also got the best Chinese food and dim sum on the second floor there. So I imagine that's the next stop for New Project 2. And it looks like a pretty secure, great bank. I mean, there's a sea of 1-star reviews from happy customers there. So I imagine that's where New Project 2 is going to end up. You know, this bank that's clearly a front for some, I don't know, Yakuza? Oh, I mean, do the Chinese have a Yakuza? Who knows? Maybe the Black Tongue is what's responsible for Cathay Bank. Anyway, so we've got this now, and you are correct in assuming that Dick Masterson isn't alone in his running of a narrative around why he's been deplatformed from this bank, from this payment processor, why New Project 2 isn't being hosted, why he's on a free speech crusade, right? Because the capos are now running Defense Force, as is to be expected. We can start with Ralph, I suppose. Now, Ralph hasn't blocked me on Twitter. And props to Ralph for not blocking me on Twitter. I mean, I don't think he has any reason to, but you know why I say props to Ralph for not blocking me on Twitter? Because Dame has actually blocked me on Twitter. Dame Pesos blocked me on Twitter. I don't know why. I mean, clearly he's house-blasted about the, it's me Gator time! Clearly he's lost his mind and he thinks that, you know, God wants to like shoot him in the head, or I don't know. I really don't understand where Dame's coming from there, but he's blocked me on Twitter, so I'm sad. I'm sad. But Ralph hasn't, so I can read Ralph's tweets. And Ralph is saying something about, you know, people working with Zoom, people being given a platform with more of an audience share than they would usually have in order to, and he says here, spout lies and fabrications. Ralph also says, I wonder why New Project 2 would lose its payment processor at this very moment. Could it be, perhaps, bear with me, the sustained attack by autists, including one given a major stage today to spout bullshit? Pretty sure Dick will get it going again, but this is pathetic. So it's a narrative being woven here, trying to link very separate people, individuals, groups, and linking them together as A-logs of Dick Masterson, as being responsible for deplatforming Dick Masterson from his bank, from his payment processors today. So we're seeing a narrative being spun, and this is in the best behavior of a good capo. This is exactly what I expect. In fact, had they have not run this, I'd have been wondering why. Why aren't they showing a show of force, a show of unity, a show of strength with Dick Masterson here? Ralph also says that the bank issue came up specifically on that stream. Josh even named out a bank and said that the Chinese one mentioned wasn't the bank on air today. So what they're saying is, by Josh denying that the bank being suggested in Chinatown was the bank, then therefore some other autists have decided to go to the other shady, somewhat shady bank and call them or do something, send an email perhaps, and get Dick Masterson deplatformed from that. He also goes on to say nobody is blaming Josh or Kiwi Farms, at least I'm not, because because Ralph knows, right? Ralph knows that if he does this, again, his own thread gets inflated with pages and pages and pages of just hatred. So maybe he's learning there. He's certainly acting in a more restrained way than Dick Masterson is reacting. But then Ralph goes on to say, I'm just saying it's really strange that a video was made on the bank, that somebody talked about the bank today, and now the bank have dropped Dick Masterson. Do you think it's an accident? And he says that people certainly wouldn't give anyone else the benefit of the doubt. So, well, we're all in the X-Files here. We're all Mulder and Scully now. We're all trying to find the truth. Even Ralph and Gator, right? Let's move on to Gator. Because Gator, as I say, is also towing the party line. I don't know why, as well, but Gator hasn't blocked me on Twitter. Like, bear in mind, I don't think he has any reason to, but he hasn't blocked me. But let's remember that Dame has blocked Godwinson on Twitter because, I don't know, maybe he's so arse-blasted about the "it's me Gator" impression. Maybe he didn't like me telling the story of where he jumped down the ravine of the Grand Canyon and never came back and died in the desert there, in the Nevada desert. But who knows why Dame blocked me. But Gator didn't block me, so props to Gator for that. Props to Gator and Ralph. Congratulations for not blocking Godwinson. So just scrolling down Gator's Twitter feed, he's saying here, he's retweeting Dick Masterson. And Dick Masterson is Dick Masterson is saying, you know, I love Kiwi Farms. Keep your boy in black, meaning Josh. So he says, I love Kiwi Farms. I will keep your boy in the black if it means I have to make a bank to do it. For real, fuck all the gay op shit. And then he screenshotted a load of people saying, go fuck yourself, Dick. So, I mean, what's he saying there? He's saying that I will still be Josh's employer. You know, I will keep your boy in the black if I have to make a bank to do it. That sounds to me like somebody in a power position trying to keep their employee. I don't know. That definitely sounds to me that Dick Masterson is LARPing as Josh's boss there. And he's even saying he'll make a bank to pay Josh. Very strange, very strange. Just scrolling down, I'm trying to get to Gator's tweets, but he's just retweeting a lot of nonsense, really, as is usual. Again, he's trying to run this narrative that an individual posted a video about a bank, and therefore, you know, it was a coordinated attack from this individual to deplatform Dick Masterson from his bank. It wasn't just, you know, the bank itself doing what many banks have done before with Dick Masterson and decided we don't want New Project 2 and we're not going to host you. No, it clearly has to be a coordinated gay op. The thing is with Gator, he sees gay op in everything. I imagine when he's eating his cereal in the morning, he sees a gay op in the Cheerios there, spelled out. I imagine when he's walking down the shop to the street, when he's walking down the street to the grocery store where he works, he's just seeing people, in formations where they're spelling out gay op, I imagine when he's stacking the shelves in the grocery store, all of the tins of baked beans are lined up in a row to spell out gay op. So, I mean, he's seeing gay op everywhere. The guy needs to take his meds 100%. But again, he's spinning the narrative here. He's absolutely doing, a really good job. He's absolutely cleaning it up. If I were employing Gator as Gunt Guard, if I were employing Gator to clean it up for me, I mean, Gator would get an A-star review. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'd even put up his pay. I'd give him a 50-cent rise on the hour there. Absolutely sterling work, Gator. So just give yourself a pat on the back, because I don't think anyone else will do it for you. So, I mean, again, Gator is saying, it sure is interesting timing. Videos have been made trying to find your bank, and now Josh is being spoken to quite publicly today on this popular stream. All right, so there we go. Gunt Guard running Defence Force, absolutely to be expected. It's curious, however, how I'm seeing a sentiment there where they are just turning on Josh completely. And what I'm thinking, and what I predicted this to begin with, right, because I'm always right, bizarrely, during matters of this nature, it seems to me that Ralph, Gator, and the Gunt Guard are trying to just bury Josh now. Just bury Josh. Trying to make it seem as though Josh is the traitor, Josh is the snake in the grass. It's because of Josh. They're actually saying this. It's because of Josh hosting this stream today that the conspiracy has had more exposure than it would usually have had, and therefore the bank has deplatformed Dick Masterson. That's what they're saying. So they're trying to throw Josh onto the bus, and into the hellfire. That's what they're trying to do, and that's to be expected, because after the Gunt's performance on the Shimp Show, when he was talking to Josh there, and he was trying to label him as a child molester and all of this nonsense, he was even molested by children. God, what a crazy fucking take that was. But after that, it definitely seems as though the hatchet was buried during that meeting. I don't think the boss had an effective way of mediating the two employees that were at each other's throats. And very clearly, Kumbaya didn't work. They didn't hold hands and sing a song, because Ralph is just instantly now doubling down on Josh as the supervillain of the internet, and therefore, how dare he host a stream where, allegations about a Chinese bank in Chinatown have been brought up, have been denied, and therefore Dick Masterson has lost his access to a payment processor. Lots of people have been telling me, by the way, that there's a problem with Dick Masterson just constantly going at Kiwi Farms, constantly spurging out at Kiwi Farms, because it means that more attention that otherwise would have just been neutral, otherwise, would have said, this is a gay op against Dick Masterson, are actually now actively engaged in fucking with Dick Masterson, because it's funny, because you're getting a reaction. It's the classic don't feed the troll line, but for some reason Dick Masterson is doing this, and a lot of people have actually spoken to me and said that, do you think, Godwinson, that Dick Masterson is doing this as a gay op himself? Do you believe the conspiracy that Dick Masterson has been actively antagonising Kiwi Farms, so he's got a scapegoat, so he's got a smokescreen for which to blame him just shutting down New Project 2 and keeping the money and running away? Now, I think that's outlandish. I certainly have a bit more faith in Dick Masterson's integrity and honesty, to be quite honest. I don't think he would do that. But there seems to be a rising sentiment that that's the case, because it's coming up to the beginning of the month, where perhaps the New Project 2 creators are paid. And it seems very bizarre that now, just as they're about to be paid, I mean, we're coming into June right at the moment, it seems very bizarre that it goes down. Maybe Dick Masterson's taking it down. People are saying, where's the proof? Where's the proof of Dick Masterson's actual deplatforming? There's no letter from the Chinese bank there. There's no even an email or a text message saying you've been deplatformed. So, I mean, this is all up in the air at this point. But it would make sense, if I were really going into full schizophrenia Mulder mode, it would make sense that, and it would explain Masterson's behaviour of antagonising the farms in such a way where he's got a very convenient scapegoat. Because it would be very bizarre to just blame this on a few individuals, with less than 1,000 subscribers. It would be very bizarre to just blame it on them. But if you have a whole forum that you can point the blame at, then it seems more plausible. It seems more plausible to, I'm going to shut it down, I'm going to take the money and run. It just seems more plausible to me to do that. And it would explain the behaviour of Dick Masterson, who I don't think prior has been behaving this way. He's not been screenshotting Kiwi Farms, attacking the user base, attacking individual users and actually ordering the owner of Kiwi Farms publicly on Twitter. I mean, I'm not even talking about DMs that we haven't seen. I'm talking about publicly on Twitter where he's saying, you need to clean this up. You need to clean this up. We're just reading through Dick Masterson's Twitter platform now. He's spurging out about all of this stuff, and this is where he's saying that, these are his words, quote, he's replying to Gator, by the way, and he says, yeah, Null needs to wipe the snakes off his board, to be honest. They actively want him to fail and use his principles against him, and none of them are fun. Oh well, I'll get it going again as soon as I can. He means New Project 2. So, I mean, do we need any more evidence that Dick Masterson is telling Josh how to run his board now? Null needs to wipe the snakes off his board, to be honest. Needs to. The order of his employer. This is his boss talking. You need to do this, Josh. So, I mean, you can deny that there's collusion, you can deny that Dick Masterson is behaving this way, but it's obvious to anyone with two eyes, in possession of a brain, that this is indeed the case. This is absolutely indeed the case. And there we have it. Dick Masterson's very likely to find another payment processor. He's likely to use this as a means of which he can harvest yet more on Patreon, where he can use his lie that he's a free speech advocate and absolutist. He can milk the pay piggies to support him on a crusade to find another bank. Maybe he's going to go fully crazy, he's going to take the LSD, he's going to take the acid, and just say, I'm going to set up my own bank, the Bank of Dick Masterson. Maybe he's just going to do that and get the pay piggies to fund that. New Project 2 seems to be a primitive stage of Dick Masterson just setting up his own bank, but it would be balls to the wall crazy if he actually does set up his own bank, as he's saying he's going to. Who knows, right? But either way, Masterson's going to be safe. Maybe Toad's not going to be safe. Maybe Josh isn't going to be safe. Maybe Gator's not going to be safe. Maybe they're not going to get paid this month. Maybe they're going to have to starve or die or fend off the wolves in the Siberian wilderness. Who knows? But all I know is that Dick Masterson's going to be pretty fine because he's got $1 million in the bank account. This was confirmed. He's got $1 million in the bank, and therefore he's not as easy to be dropped from payment processors or anything like that. Just remember to not buy into the lies, not buy into the cleanup, because it's cleanup and overload at this point in time. They're all snaking on each other, and this is where we are in this moment. Trust no one. Like I keep saying, the truth is out there, and people are aware of the truth. People can spot a lie a mile away, and they can see that with, I would say, 90% clarity, the way things are going. A lot of what you see is cope, or a lot of what you're going to see is cleanup, a lot of what you're going to see is a false narrative being peddled. When we all know the actual fact, probably, it's probably the case that Dick Masterson keeps getting deplatformed for this New Project 2, whether or not it's because of Josh, who's also been deplatformed as a terminated merchant on various payment processors. Who knows, right? But there seems to be a pattern here because he's been deplatformed from mainstream banks, and now these weird Chinese banks are saying no to Dick Masterson. I mean, what crazy sort of thing is this New Project 2 where even the Chinese cartel are saying no, we don't want this. They say no good for us. So who knows what's going to happen, apart from Dick Masterson's well-being is going to be pretty much secure. I think he's going to stay in his Barbie doll dream mansion. I'm pretty sure he's going to die with 2 prostitutes in his arms. Whether that dream mansion will actually be a garage in Compton, who knows? Whether those prostitutes will be riddled with AIDS in 40-something, who knows? But I think he's going to die where he thinks he's going to die, and I think that's absolutely fine. It's the low-level capos that I'm worried about. I'm worried about Josh. I'm worried about whether he's actually going to survive in the Siberian wilderness now. During his stream today, he says that he's the one thing that's actually giving him consolation, is actually making him happy during this COVID crisis here, is the fact that his money's okay. I mean, this is it. You can go and listen to the stream and you can hear him say, the one thing that's helping me out is the fact that the money's okay. He's worrying about other things, maybe, but the money's okay. And now so happens a few hours after that stream that the money isn't okay. He's not going to get the $2,000 a month unless Dick Masterson actually personally pays him this month, actually personally channels the money himself from his $1 million bank account to Josh in the Siberian wilderness. Unless that happens. That's what a good employer would do, right? They'd look after their employees. They'd make sure they wouldn't starve. You know, they'd look after their well-being. There'd be a sort of pastoral need to look after the employee there. Who knows whether Dick Masterson is actually a good enough boss to do that? Who knows? And that's me. Until the next thing happens in the news cycle, peace out. Juice. PB&J to the chat.